The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff and management of WWDB-TV.
Right. Get yourselves together. Right. Stand up and live your life. Right. Get yourselves together. Right. Hands up high.
Welcome to the Rise Above show. I am Joe Perroni.
I'm Heidi Mancini, and we have a special guest today, Jodi Tyra.
Hi.
So she's here to...
Oh, we need a clap for that.
Oh.
Of course.
We need to clap. Okay.
It's just standing ovation,
But before we get into your story, we need to thank Joe McDonough from Joe McDonough Family Allstate Insurance. He sponsors our show Rise Above, and Joe is located at 3665 South Fort Apache, Suite 105, 89147 in Las Vegas. And his website is www.joemcdonough.allstate.com. So if you're looking for insurance for your family, car, homeowners insurance, life insurance, give Joe a call and he'll hook you guys up. So that's our sponsor for the show, so I have to make sure I say
I've
that.
actually had Allstate insurance for over 30 years.
You have?
Oh, really?
Good girl.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and Joe, he's I didn't realize this about Allstate, but Allstate as a whole, they advertise for themselves. They don't even need advertising with Mayhem and all theirs. Yeah. But there's about over 50 franchises in Las Vegas that are independently owned, Allstate. So when you drive around town, you see Allstate here, you see Allstate in that plaza. They're like a 7-Eleven in the sense that they're franchised out, so independent people own them. So we are partnered with them to try to help build Joe's independent Allstate business to get him clients. So
That's good.
So that's that.
Excellent.
So
I'm going to let you take over most of the show, but I have a lot of questions.
I'm sure you do have a lot of questions. Jodi and I met in July of this year. She was introduced to me or set up or referred to me by a friend of mine, Sherry, who does your nails. Yep. And we used to work together at Salon Viaggio. So that's how my relationship started out with Jodi, and I work with Jodi on her fitness. I'm her trainer, personal trainer, coach, whatever.
Yay.
And so we're on our own journey together to get you in shape, and feeling good. And in the beginning, when I started training Jodi, she expressed to me about the death of her husband. So one of the reasons you're on our show today is to talk about that and how you're moving through your life with him passing away, and your fitness journey also, so that we can share that with other women that you have to start someday. At some point you have to start taking care of yourself. So first question is, you're a realtor at Coldwell Banker. How long have you been there?
Yeah, I've been at Coldwell Banker for 18 going on 19 years come next month.
And what made you get into real estate?
I was actually in the floral business for 25 years prior to that, and we lived in Arizona. And so when we moved here, I cared for my mother, and she passed away, so I was at home with her. And then when she passed away, I just looked at Scott one day and said, okay, new town, new career. I'm going into real estate. And he said, okay. So
you...
Oh, is that easy?
Yeah.
You know how hard it is for people to change careers?
Well, it was very easy for me because the floral industry is very physically demanding.
Oh, okay.
You think, oh, flower shop, pretty flowers. Oh, no. It's physically demanding, and you make very little money. So I just thought, you know what, I want to branch out and find something new.
How are the customers? Are they very picky too?
For real estate?
I mean, in floral.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes, they are.
So you probably wanted to leave that too.
That's true. Customer service is not easy, but, that's actually catapulted me into real estate. So, because every deal in real estate is different. You work with different people every single day. So
you develop personality, working with all the personalities that are out there.
Right.
So what year did you come to Las Vegas then?
1998.
98.
Yeah.
So the housing business was great then, I would imagine.
Yes, I've seen the ups and I've seen the downs.
Well, how did
I'm
it start?
still here.
So it started off great then.
Yes, it did.
So tell me about that.
Yep. Getting into real estate, it takes you a while to ramp up your business. But I, through good coaching, I had coaching in real estate too. Through good coaching, I, got listings and buyers, and the first year was slim, very slim, but, you just kind of keep rolling after that.
And how is that on the relationship, your marriage, when things are slow?
Fine.
Really?
Yeah, Scott. Scott and I have a very zen relationship. Just everything's going to work out. We didn't worry about anything. If we had money issues, we'd figure it out.
What did your husband do for a living?
He was an economic forecaster for the airline industry.
What is that?
So he could say, if we have this size plane with this many seats, we can fly to destination A and B and make this much money. Okay. So he did that for several major airlines throughout his career.
That's different. I never heard of that.
Yeah, they have to forecast so they know, where their money's coming from and if the routes they're taking will make money or not.
And just to jump forward just for a second, your son Ben, he's an airline attendant. Was that something that catapulted him into that, being around your husband's career?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely, yeah. Benjamin went into actually, he fueled aircraft at the North Las Vegas airport first in high school. And then when he moved to Reno to go to college, he started working for Allegiant Air at their call center. So he would, take reservation calls. And then he got transferred here to Las Vegas, and then moved into management. So.
So if you were going to live in another city, what would it be?
Oof.
There's a bunch.
There's a bunch. You know what? When Scott died, I thought, I can live anywhere I want. But right now, this is home, and this is where I make my money. So it'll be Las Vegas for a while.
There you go.
Yeah.
So when things were going well, I'm thinking probably went really well, financially, I mean, up until 2007.
Yep.
So what happened there? Like, were you able to predict that in any way? Is there there's nothing in the cards that it just kind of happened?
Nope. Nobody had the crystal ball, and when it happened, being a real estate agent, I'm kind of like a chameleon. I kind of go and change as the market changes. So when the downturn came, I learned how to work short sales and sell bank owns and sell short sale properties and help clients through their financial times. So I
They
just
said
kind of
back then
changed up.
too that anybody that was going through that time that was self-employed, and real estate agents are self-employed even though you're under an umbrella
Right.
of your company, they said that if you could make it through that recession and come out, you'd be okay.
Yep.
And you said that creative part of business and holding on to your clients, because being a stylist, I wasn't a trainer then. I had to do the same thing. I could not up my prices. I had to give a lot of services away, do a lot of free stuff to clients that were having financial hardships. They
Right.
were regular clients of mine. Say, it's okay, I will do the color this time, but I won't charge you, just a
Oh,
haircut.
okay.
Those type of things, because I had lost 40% of my income during that time, and I was going through a divorce. So, and Joe, his wife passed away in the recession, and he was going through his own recession, trying to maintain the household on one income, watching the houses on our street. Most of them were up. They turned into rentals. There's only 3.
Yeah, I remember,
He was the original buyer on our street.
I don't know if this is the usual. You would know, but on the cul-de-sac where we lived, there's 8 houses. We're one of those. There was only us and one other house that had an occupant. So 6 out of the 8.
Yes.
I'm 53 years old. I've never been so scared in all my life. I couldn't tell what was going on. I mean, you would be going through the community for a walking the dogs.
Yes.
Foreclosure. I'm like, I've never seen this. And I think, what would make it better?
Right.
Even the stores, there was restaurants. Everything was going out of business.
Sure.
I was like, we're like really in a lot of trouble.
Right.
So how
Yeah,
did
there
you
were
deal with it?
numerous neighborhoods like that with, just blocks and blocks of houses that had gone, under foreclosure. And then the investors came to town and started snapping up all the properties for, less money. They got good deals. So a lot of neighborhoods turned into rental neighborhoods.
Yep, that's
The
what
good
happened.
news, the good news now is those investors can't make a return on their money like they used to, so they're selling and getting out of the market. So now we have what I call real buyers for the houses. Those are people that are actually going to occupy the homes and call them home for a while. So the
Well,
neighborhoods
that's
are changing back.
what happened to one of our houses next to us. The lady came in and she bought it. It was a rental for a lot since then.
Sure.
And she's there to stay. So that house finally is not under rent anymore.
Right.
But
Yeah, we've seen huge changes over there. You're right. There's actual families
Yes.
that want to actually stay there.
Right.
And when you pull out of the driveway, they don't just duck and run away. They actually might wave because they know
Yes.
they're going to be there for a
Exactly, exactly, yeah. And we're seeing that families and people are staying in their homes typically 3 to 7 years, and then they move on, and that's a healthy, good market. Yeah, so it's all good again.
so to rewind a little bit to your husband Scott when he was sick, and how long was he sick, and what's the time frame on that? And what did he have? I mean,
Okay, I knew you were going to ask me what did he have. The name that they gave it is like this long.
okay.
But basically, he had walking pneumonia his entire life. When you have pneumonia, you get that, for lack of a better term, that crap in your lungs. That's what he had. They discovered it when he was young in high school. And then when he was a freshman in college, he lived in the Texas-Oklahoma area. And his left lobe of his lung was filling up and had collapsed. And their only solution back then was to cut it out. So he had surgery as a freshman in college, so he survived all those years on only 1.5 lungs. And the disease was, he was never ever a smoker. They think it was environmental because his parents smoked in the house when he was little, and also living in Texas and Oklahoma, he lived around the oil refineries. So they're thinking it was environmental. We wanted to know that before we had Benjamin, because if it was hereditary, we weren't going to have kids because we didn't want to pass on anything. So we really looked into that first. So when we got married, I knew he was sick and he would get progressively worse over the years. We just didn't know when. So to keep active and to keep his lungs cleared, we were very active. We skied. He played basketball. He loved basketball. We played softball, football. We were hiking all the time. So he did as much as he could. And then just in the past, probably the last 10 years of his life, he started slowing down and figuring that he couldn't do as much. So we hadn't skied in years.
So when he slowed down and he took a break, you did.
Yes.
Okay.
Because I didn't think, we're in this together. And I didn't think it was fair for me to go off and have fun without him. And I wasn't going to play sports if he couldn't. I think that's mean. I didn't want to do that to him. So he and I hung out a lot together.
So there was a positive there.
Yes. Yeah. There were always positives. He never, ever looked, he was never bitter. He was never angry. It was just something he had to deal with, and he was really good at it.
Did you ever get angry?
No.
No.
No. And they always say, there's stages to grief, and, lots of people have said, oh, you'll get angry, and it's like, no, I won't, because why? We lived the perfect life. We knew what we were getting into. Scott was so lucky to get his new lungs. Why be angry? I'm just not. I'm sad. I'm not angry.
So with your weight, I hate to say that. I hate that word weight.
Well,
What
that's
other
what it
word should I
is.
use?
Fat? I don't
No,
know.
I don't like the fat word.
There's not a
We
better
call
word.
it fluff. We call it fluff.
Oh no, it's
Did
weight.
you start? Did you was it a weight, or if you were physically active before? Did you start to put weight on when your husband was sick, when your mom was sick, neglecting yourself a little bit?
Yeah. I mean, I've been chunky all my life, basically, and then after I had Ben, it's like when you get pregnant, that's your excuse to gain weight. That was bad. That was just stupid. So I never lost, this is baby fat. I never lost my baby fat from having Ben. And then when Scott got worse and we couldn't be as active, yeah, I, put on the pounds and ate and sat on the couch and did all the, the things you think you're comforting yourself with.
My question for you is, when you started training. Now you were not with me originally. You started out with Robert, who's from Gold's Gym.
Right.
And Joe and I both. Joe knows him better than I do.
Do I?
Yeah, she wrote his diet for when he went on his weight loss.
Oh, I know. Okay, I have to think about who you're talking
Yeah,
about. Okay,
Robert.
yeah, I know who you're talking
I was
about.
gonna say he's getting. So anyway, I guess
Alzheimer's
what
kicked
made you decide to
No, right?
go do something? What, after your husband passed away? What made you start saying, okay, I need to do something?
A friend of mine, Scott, his name's Scott too, decided in memory of my Scott, he wanted to run a Spartan race. And so, like an idiot, I said, well, I do too. I'll go with you.
You didn't know what you were in for, did you?
Yeah, no, I had no clue what Spartan was. No clue. And, it's a little running, some little obstacles. Hey, this will be fun.
Well, the first clue is the word Spartan.
You're a warrior.
Okay, so now I know. And it wasn't the tiny Spartan. Oh no, we did the super Spartan, which was supposed to be 8 to 10 miles, which ended up being, swear to God, they miscalculated. It was like 10 to 12 miles. So I knew Robert through a theater thing. He was playing piano for us, and he had happened to mention he was a trainer at Gold's, and I went, really? And so I said, and this was in 2013. Scott and I were doing a show, and Robert was our pianist. And so I told Robert, I said, would you consider training me? And he goes, oh, absolutely. And I thought, I kind of tucked it away in the back of my mind. And so then when Scott passed, and then Scott Miller decided to do the Spartan thing, I called Robert and said, okay, I've signed up for this Spartan race. You need to get me into shape. So that's what started it. I'm kind of a balls to the wall type gal.
I gotta tell you, when she trains, this lady's amazing. When she works out, she's goal orientated. So everything we do, we have to have a goal attached to it, right?
Yes.
So there's always purpose. We're trying to get somewhere, but the way she trains is unbelievable. Do you mind if I tell people how old you are?
No.
56.
Yep.
Okay, 56 years old. And she's amazing. And I'm not just saying that because you're on the show, but
Thank you.
everything I throw at her, she does it. And she also has, we don't know what's going on with her glute, but we have a little nerve, not a little, it's a lot of a nerve issue that we'll end up training, and she'll go, wait a minute, and we have to wait for whatever is going on there for her to situate herself, and she'll resume training even with being being uncomfortable with whatever's going on, which we're going to find out after the first of the year, hopefully. So, one of the reasons that I don't know if you've heard of the butterfly effect, the Rise Above show. We've been on the air for 6 years, and then I decided to go off and do, it's called the butterfly effect, which women helping other women, empowering girls in a positive skill building or self-esteem building way. And I wanted to have you on as a guest today as part of that, so that you could share your story about, Scott passing away, and then getting to the gym and training and finally taking care of yourself in a very positive way. You did not get addicted to drugs. You didn't get into self-harming chemical type things to get through.
Yeah. Scott never complained the whole time he was sick. Never complained ever about anything. And so I figured I'm not going to either, because if he didn't, why should I? So that's kind of what powers me through every day.
How was the holidays?
Oh, it sucked. Thanks for asking.
That
You're
that's,
welcome. I had to ask him. Listen, I
But
know.
that's so
I have,
honest, though.
it's-
That's a great answer. That's the best answer ever, because that's
when Joe's
true
wife
when you
passed
go
away
through.
years ago, I was training with him. I was like his new client, one of his new people. And I remember calling him on Christmas, and I was with my family. And I remember saying, I got to call him and just say, hey, I'm thinking about you. I don't know what you're doing right now, but I was thinking it must be awful to be alone on Christmas because his wife had passed away. The girl, I don't know where the girls were. She had her daughters from,
Well, I can tell you real quick. I mean, just to add to it, I never officially adopted my stepkids. So what happened was, when my wife at the time, she died, I was just basically a single man living with a 19-year-old and a 16-year-old girl. Okay, so then out of nowhere, as the white knight, the ex who hadn't been in their life for like 15 years up to that point, goes in because now he can get paid $1,000 per child to take him back to his trailer park in Yuma, Arizona. So he got paid. So this is a big paycheck for him. This is a big pay raise for him to get the kids back. And as you know, when you're a parent, you got to lay down some rules. But when you lay down rules and you're a man, and a 16-year-old and a 19-year-old say want to do something like, I don't know, call the cops, and the cops come in and they see a single guy, it's not looking good. So that it fell apart real quick. So on Christmas, when Heidi called, I remember very clearly now, it was a long time ago, I was lying on my bed by myself looking up at the ceiling fan. That was it. I had my whole family, was gone, and the gym is closed on Christmas.
I know.
What a big pain in the neck
gyms
that
need
is.
to be open on
I
holidays.
know.
I'm just
What are you
saying.
going to do? So
Yeah, exactly.
I was just
We
sitting
need
there.
to. Yeah.
So that was my Christmas. What did you do?
Friends of mine, I had many invites to come over to, their places for dinner and such. So I did go to a friend's house, and they have a large extended family, and they've enfolded me into their family, which I really, really appreciate and love. It's just not the same. So I went and had dinner with them, and then went home, and then Benjamin was flying. He was working, so then he came in later Christmas night. But yeah, I haven't decorated the house since Scott died. I'm not feeling it.
Yeah.
And I thought, why am I forcing myself to do it if I really don't want to?
Now, how long ago did this happen?
3 years.
3 years.
How does your son, with his dad passing away? I mean, I've lost my father. My dad will be gone 20 years in January, so it's a long time. But I still miss him. It's not like you forget it. But
Yeah.
how does your son?
He internalizes it a lot, and he was in management for an airline, and then after his father passed away, he came to me and he said, I'm thinking of going back to the line to be a flight attendant again. You think that's okay? And I said, of course, you can do anything you want. And he said, because Dad's not here, I have to get my head on, screwed back on, and I think if I just go flying for a while, I can figure that out. So he and I talk a lot. We text almost, not every day, but we have each other.
And you guys talk about it. You talk about his death and openly with each other.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Because I find that's what's awkward about death a lot of times, is that people, even in families, they don't want to talk about it sometimes, because everybody's dealing with it in their own.
And I think that's really sad. I think, death is a part of life, and we all have to prepare for it, either for ourselves or for somebody else, and you can't hide from it. It's going to happen, and I wish more people would talk about it.
One of the things I never got to talk to my dad about, and I never got to ask him how he felt. Because he died, and he suffered for years. And everybody would just act like nothing was going on.
Right.
So I guess what I was trying to get with that was, was he ever able to verbalize how he felt about possibly knowing that he was...
Oh, yes. Yeah, we talked about it all the time. We talked about anything and everything our whole married life, always. And he knew he was going to die at some point. And he was a very religious man, so he was always okay with dying. And we talked about, he was very concerned about Ben and I, that we would be okay after he left. And we promised him on his deathbed, again, we told him, we're going to take care of each other. You don't have to worry. And then he said, okay. So I think it's really, really important that people talk to their families about death and dying. I know some of the reaction I've gotten from people, you can kind of tell how they've reacted to death as, you know, when they come and talk to you about it. And a lot of people are afraid of it, and they don't want to say Scott's name because they think they'll make me sad. Well, I think it's important to say his name as much as possible. You know, he was a living, breathing, vibrant man, and I don't ever want to forget him, so I'll always use his name. And I think when people ask about him, I like that. And I think it's really important too. Scott and I planned for the future in terms of, you know, trusts and wills and, you know, all that stuff. And I wish more people would do that, because it makes it easier for the living. After you're gone, all that's already set in place and you don't have to think about it.
Yeah, it's interesting. A lot what you say is, just to go back a little bit too, is that you said for the holidays, you said you're not feeling it. I find that interesting, because to me, I think maybe you are feeling it. You're feeling it exactly the way you're supposed to. I mean, maybe throwing a Christmas wreath around and, you know, blinking lights, you're not really supposed to feel that and that.
Right.
Because I think a lot of that is really... We call it Christmas, but I'm not so sure that that's not a superficial thing that we just kind of throw out there. So I think you really are feeling it, but you're feeling it appropriately for you. And who cares what society thinks if,
Right.
you know, you have the right tinsel or garland on a tree.
Right. Yeah, that's true. And I honestly don't care what people think.
There you go. It's even better.
I'm gonna live my life, and even my neighbor, my new neighbor, came over and told me they were leaving town or something, and so she said, "Well, Merry Christmas or whatever," and I think it was because I don't have lights on my house. She wasn't quite sure.
She's like, Grinch.
I
live next door to the Grinch.
I know. And I said, no. I said, I'm Christian. It's okay. Merry Christmas. You know. And she goes, oh, okay. But people's reactions are just funny. So, and some of the people that come to you, there have been some people that talk to you like they know what you're going through. They don't, because they've never been through it. And those are the relationships that are the hardest. I'm polite with them, you know, and in the beginning I would just nod my head and say yes a lot and listen and just let them spew their knowledge on me. And but there have been some acquaintances that I've had to back away from because it's a weird phenomenon. Some of them like to wallow in the sorrow, and I'm like, no, I need to move on in my own way. I don't need this on top. So there's been a couple that I've...
And to go back to Joe's story, too, when his wife died, I was in his life because as a client, so I'm on the outside kind of observing here and different things. And there was a comment made, Kay had only been dead a few months, and Joe had started, you know, dating here and there, nothing serious, but he was starting to go out with his guy friends a little bit and maybe have a girlfriend here and there. And there was, you know, criticisms around that. Well, his wife hasn't been gone that long. Why is he dating? And I thought to myself, why is there a time limit on when you have to be, whatever that happiness might be, why is there, you know, you shouldn't do this and this until this time, because of why it'd be no
Everybody's
different with you
different.
doing your thing, you know,
Right.
getting involved in stuff right away after, you know, Scott died. People saying, well, God, she must not miss him because she's at the gym and she's doing this and she's doing that.
Yeah, I've had those comments about, you know, oh, you're starting to look good, and oh, you wear tight clothes now. Well, damn straight I
Damn
do,
straight,
because
man, it's
I'm
supposed to
kind
be
of
tighter
proud
and
now.
tighter.
I'm kind of proud now, so yeah, I've bought a few new
Yeah.
clothes. It's okay.
I said to her one day in the gym, I go, would you lose those long sleeves? And she's like, I go out and buy yourself some tank tops or something, and let's see the arms. I said, I want to see your arms when we train, you know?
Yeah, so I wore
yeah.
my turtleneck today, isn't that great?
That's good. I like it. I like the blue on you. That
Thank
looks good.
People are really interesting, though, aren't they? Like, one of the things that I noticed is, and I asked Heidi, I didn't want to ask you because I don't want to bother you at the gym because
Oh.
but I wrote a book.
Yeah,
I'm
'cause
not selling it.
I'm on
I
her
mean, I am
time.
selling it, but
She's
not to
on
you.
my time, so
Yeah.
don't. I'm on your time, actually.
Oh, that's true.
I'm on yours.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But one of the things that I remember so much is that the conversations become very strange, because if you handle it in a I don't know if you want to call it a correct way, right? Like Nietzsche said, that which doesn't kill me makes me stronger. That's true to a degree if you can handle it in a mature way, and you are. Some people get worse, but I'm going to say you're getting better. So when that happens and you get stronger, and you've seen the worst and you've seen the best, you have this insight that when people talk to you, it becomes really weird, doesn't it? Like they start putting judgments on you. Like for me, it was like, hold it, why would you go to, let's say, a coffee shop with a girl? Like, what are you doing? It's like, well, you don't know me. But here's my answer. I wanted to have an adult conversation with another human being that didn't involve death. That's my straight answer. Period.
Yeah.
Oh, but here's the other thing,
Yeah.
too. And I started seeing Joe, too. That was the other thing. People want to start, you know, drama.
Right.
You know, well, you knew him before, you know.
Oh, dear.
Okay, so that was the thing. You know, there
Oh.
was not only was he going from, you know, well, he's dating too soon. Why is he dating? Why is he doing? To,
Yeah.
you know, just all the BS that comes along. It's like let people live, because nobody knows what they're going to do unless you're in that situation. And even
Absolutely
if we
not.
say we think we would handle it, we've both had children. I have a daughter, and I can't tell people my experiences. I can tell them my experiences, but I can't expect them to deal with
Right.
their experiences the same way.
It's the same when you're pregnant. People try to tell
Right.
you their experience.
right.
And so when
It's
when somebody
different.
dies, they're telling you their experience, and it's human nature, and I understand that, you know, because we all want to share our story with everybody. But I tend to pull my punches and not, just because everybody's different, and I have my own journey. So
Yeah, that's hard to do. That's smart. Like when I was going through it, I started saying the same phrase to myself all the time because I was getting annoyed by a lot of people, and in my head I just kept saying, "They're saying this without malice. Like
Right.
they're not trying to hurt me.
No.
They're not trying to be annoying. I mean, they are all of those things in some way sometimes, but I know they don't mean it that way.
No.
So all of a sudden I became this much more empathetic human being. So I noticed I was the one who had gone through the trauma, yet I'm caring about their feelings.
Yes.
Do you notice that?
you end up listening to them.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
like you become
Yes.
the Yoda, right? The
Yes.
therapist.
Yes. Oh my God.
You're like, where do I go? I'm like, I
Yoda.
thought.
Oh, yeah. You do, yes. And yes. People come to me like, I'm the all-knowing now, and they want my advice. And I'm like, really?
Yeah, but not only that, now that you're training, this is the other thing. Now that she's getting in shape, this is going to be a phenomenon too, because you're going to be inspiring other people to work out. People are going to start coming to you for diet advice, training advice.
Just hire
work
Heidi.
out, you know,
That's,
whatever.
that's my advice.
Well, one of the reasons, and I want to just say this quickly, one of the reasons I got into wellness coaching and the butterfly effect was that when I was going through my stuff years ago, 13 years ago, I started training. I was 40, I'm 53, and I remember being older and people saying to me, what do you think you're going to do at your age? You haven't trained in 20 years. I just quit smoking. And I go, I don't even know, but I decided to go on a journey of something that was totally different than what my life before that, everything in my life before that was planned. Boom, boom, boom. These are the things that you do. This is how you live your life. And I decided to say, I'm going to do what I want to do, what feels good to me. And I did that with very little support. my ex-husband was not supportive. I had a daughter that was, kind of, young and didn't know any better. And most of my friendships I lost. Because when you don't drink anymore and you don't smoke anymore and you're not overweight anymore, you start to go into you start having different friendships. So one of the reasons I decided to do the coaching and the butterfly effect was to be a friend to other women, because when you're by yourself and it sucks to be trying to do something and you're kind of alone in it. And unfortunately, sometimes our families and our friends, they're not on with us in the beginning, but to go back to what you said before, what happens in the beginning, they're not with you in the beginning. They're kind of like, oh, whatever. But then when you start doing better and getting better, then all of a sudden those same people some of them will start to come to you and say, hey, what are you eating? What keeps you going to the gym? What keeps you... I honestly don't know what keeps me going other than I feel good when I train. And the times that I stop training because I get lazy or I just get sick of it, I start feeling bad again, and I go, okay, time to get back to some taking care of me time.
Yeah, when I started with Robert, I discovered that I loved being in the gym because it was an hour that I didn't have to think. I just did what he told me, and it was my time to not think about Scott and not think about the bills or whatever it was. And it was just my quiet time. And I still think that way. That's why I love coming to the gym.
And she works too. When she's at the gym, she comes in, she's on time, she's ready to go, and I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
And to see your results. We started working together in July. And again, I'm not going to take credit for the beginning parts of, you went on a keto diet. And that was successful in your weight loss. And what I want to express with that, and people ask me this all the time, what do you think about this diet? What I think is this. I think that anytime you put yourself in a different way of a different lifestyle, whether it's your eating, your training, both, you're going to lose weight. Good things are going to start to happen when you start making good choices and watching what you're doing. However, genetically speaking, some people will do better on a keto diet rather than... Anytime that you're eating fresh fruits and vegetables and proteins, you're going to lose weight. We slowly introduced a little bit of carbs into your diet because she trains like crazy. And I said, you need some, and the lifestyle that you have too. I said, in my opinion, that was my opinion. I said, I'm not thinking one carb meal a day is going to kill you, but if it's a catalyst to set you eating carbs and going in a different direction, then we wouldn't. Then you definitely could relate to me. And
and I've worked too hard. I don't want to go back. I'm not going to screw this up.
No, and she in a short time, 5 months, your body composition has changed. The weight, though, has come down, but not to the point where you've lost so much weight so quickly that even your body, your skin and stuff has not been compromised from too much weight loss at one time. So
I still have lumps to lose, but
and we're so critical, and that's the thing, is women start getting in shape. To look back at your pictures, which will be on this video once we edit this, because John's going to edit and you won't see the screen when it goes up again and you get it. To see the pictures of you and your body composition and how that changes, and yet we're still critical. We still look at ourselves in the mirror and go, oh my God, I'm so fat. Oh my God, I still have this. Oh.
That's why I don't like looking in the mirror at the
gym.
See
where you came from.
I hate that.
She goes, I don't want to look in the mirror.
Nope. It's like I know how to do it. I don't need to look.
We have to take one quick... Are we taking a break, John, for commercial time right now or no? Okay, let's take a quick break and we'll come right back.
Okay.
I'm the world's worst cleaning lady. I'm here in your home having a pretty spectacular Tuesday. But I don't notice the loose rug at the top of your stairs. And that's about to become an issue for me. And if you've got the wrong home insurance coverage, my medical bills could get expensive. So get all
There are many insurance companies out there, but none can compare with McDonough Family Insurance. We take time to get to know each and every customer's individual needs. We want you to feel like part of the family and pride ourselves in protecting what matters most to you. Our agency offers all types of insurance, including life, auto, home, health, renters, and business owner policies. We strive for excellence each and every day to make sure that whatever situation arises in your life, you can feel safe, secure, and confident. One call to McDonough Family Insurance Agency will make your world brighter. Call us at 702-684-6989. That's 702-684-6989. We're always here with a smile and ready to help you. McDonough Family Insurance Agency, the company that cares.
Welcome back to the Rise Above show. I am Joe Perroni.
I'm Heidi Mancini.
And I'm Jodi Tyra.
Excellent. Another round of applause.
Yay. Before we go into another round here, do you want to tell people quickly how they can get a hold of you, if you have a website, or if they're interested in buying property?
Sure.
How to get a hold of you?
Sure. Okay. You can reach me on my cell, either call or text. Very easy, 702-528-4483. And I'll help you buy or sell real estate, or if you have questions, just give me a call.
Okay. Oh, another thing that you do that we didn't mention is that you're a singer in your Desert Spring United Church. I had to look at my paperwork.
It's okay.
So what are you?
I'm an alto.
Okay.
And I sing in my church choir at Desert Spring, and I'm also a member of the Master Singers of Las Vegas. We're the in-house choir for the Las Vegas Philharmonic.
Nice.
And it's really fun.
Yeah, we went.
Really fun.
I came to your event at
Yeah,
Christmas
we were there.
time. It was
Christmas?
beautiful, Joe and I, and it was great. It was a great
Thank you.
experience.
Yeah.
So how long have you been singing?
Forever. Actually, that's Scott and I met in church choir in our church in Denver, and we actually got introduced by the choral director at University of Denver at the time was our director at church. And so Scott was in graduate school then, so he would come and sing in our choir. And I noticed him one night at rehearsal and asked the director's wife, who's that guy with the cute legs? And Deborah said, oh, that's Scott Tyra. Let me introduce you. And we were friends for 5 years before we got married. We would call each other up and talk about each other's girlfriends and boyfriends. And didn't really ever date exactly. We would kind of go out maybe here and there as friends.
It's kind of like the Harry Met Sally.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of, And then one day after working in the flower shop for Valentine's Day, I called him and I said, meet me for a beer. I really need a beer. And we were just hanging out, and I looked at him and I said, you want to get married? And he said, okay.
You proposed to him?
I did.
Oh my God, that's talk about liberal. Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
Woman power.
That's right. And my mom never knew that. No. Because she was
Traditional.
Very conservative,
Checker.
traditional.
Oh.
So,
Wow.
yeah.
You never
as
told
far
me
as-
that.
As far as she knew, Scott asked me, and that was our story, and we
Yeah.
were sticking to it.
Oh my God.
That's a
So,
great
yeah.
story.
It's a great story.
Yeah.
Well,
that's
and to go backwards just a minute, well, tell people listening what it feels like to walk into the gym for the first time, so that they can get an idea, because I hear that all the time.
Well, for me, as I said, I don't care what people think, so it was easier for me, I think. But I figured I'm there for me, and this is how I look, and I was way heavier then, and I thought I need to work, and I just put my head down and didn't look around, and I knew I wasn't there to date or anything. I was there on a mission.
Like Joe says, chop wood.
And
Put your head down and just chop wood.
And I think it does make it easier with a trainer, because you have somebody with you, and giving you direction of what to do in the gym. I originally hired Robert because I wanted to know how to use all the equipment correctly, and didn't think I would stay with a trainer for so long, but turned out that I just really enjoy it, because if you're having trouble getting in the gym, or you think, oh, people are watching, or I don't want people to see me, it's way easier with a trainer.
Okay, that's good.
What I was thinking though too is that after your husband passed, it's like we lose part of our role and what we do, and it's like, okay, it's like, who am I? What am I? Right?
Yep.
Like you lose that. So what was that like going into the gym too? Like, it's not just sets and reps, right? Like, it's almost like you're walking in there and you're going, okay, there's this huge gap in my life, and I'm gonna try to like fill it. Like, was he there with you when you walked in?
No.
No.
Well, he wasn't either when I started at Gold's Gym. Same thing. I walked in there, and I'll make mine quick. I walked in there, and Ginger was the girl there at the time that signed everybody up. And I walked in, and he was sitting off to the side, and the client that referred me to him said he was a bodybuilder, and I was thinking CrossFit guy, like a CrossFit guy. So I walk in, and I'm all cute, got my big shirt on, my hair's in a scrunchie, got my bag. You know, I'm a hairdresser, so makeup's on, the whole thing. And Ginger goes, "Oh, Joe, you're with Joe Perroni. He's right there." Well, here's this bodybuilder with his big yellow shirt on. He was getting ready for a show, which back then meant nothing to me. I could care less back then. He told me he's doing a show, and I was like, so, whatever. And I go, "Oh my God, I am so hot." That's exactly what I thought. And then I walk up to him, and he goes, "You ready to have some fun?" And I was just like, you know how you get butterflies in your stomach? I knew that it was changing my life. Like, I already had this feeling that, and because he was my guy, my trainer, I walked into Gold's Gym going, okay, I'm with this big guy. I'm cool. Nobody's going to bother me now.
Yeah. No, Robert was there, my trainer.
Yeah. No, I mean psychologically. Like when you walked in, like was your husband there with you? Like you
that's what I thought you meant.
Right. Yeah. Like were you thinking, okay, like help me out here. I need a new life. I'm trying this. You know?
No. Honestly, no.
No. Okay.
Because the gym is my sanctuary.
Okay.
I don't think about my life or anything while I'm in there. It's my time to get stronger mentally and physically. So, no.
Thank you for saying that.
Call me weird, but
because part of training, part of that whole thing. Thank you for saying that, because women need to know, and men too. I'm sure men that train, women need to know that when you're at the gym, and the gym, Pilates, swimming, whatever it is that you choose to do, Zumba, whatever, find an activity that you like. When you're there for you. You're not there because your husband told you to go. You're not there because your girlfriend's told you to go. Right. You're there because there's something inside you that you respect and love yourself enough to say, you know what, I got to do this. And it doesn't matter what he says, John says, I say. I mean, but thankfully there's trainers out there that can help facilitate.
Oh, sure.
You know, and hold your hand, you know, and kind of.
Yep. And guide you.
Yep. So we got about 30 seconds left.
About 30 seconds.
So I want to thank you for being open, honest, insightful, and just being allowed to, so we can take a look at what's going on in your life. It's a really difficult thing. Most people try to hide it, and you said it right out. You know, sometimes Christmas sucks when you go through that. So I love that. It's totally honest. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Did you want to one more time tell people where they could reach you?
Call me at Coldwell Banker Premier Realty. My number is 702-528-4483.
Thank you. This has been the Rise Above Show. I'm Joe Perroni.
From the Butterfly Effect, Heidi Mancini.
Thank you.